Hello from my sunny Orange County, California studio. Nick Portillo here, and this is the Titans of Food Service. I appreciate you joining me again on another episode. Today I've got a fun one. It's with my dad. This month, June 2024, represents our 9th year in business. We started in June of 2015. So excited to share some of the experiences that we've had over the years, some things we're working on, and then we also have a lot of laughs as well. My dad, he's a funny guy. So please join us as we talk about the arc. It's not an arc, right? Because an arc is up and then down. More of like the trajectory of Portillo Sales and Marketing. Thank you again for listening. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, if you leave me a 5-star review, that would be great. I want to get this podcast out to as many people as possible who are interested in the food service industry or who are currently in the industry and want to look to grow within what they're doing. That would mean a lot. Without further ado, let's go ahead and welcome John Portillo, my dad. All right, Dad, welcome to the Titans of Food Service. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah. So, it's an important month. I don't know if you knew that or not.
Tell me more.
Okay. So it's June of 2024, which means we've now been in business for exactly 9 years.
Great.
We started Portillo Sales and Marketing 9 years ago.
Wow, that's an amazement.
Yeah, isn't that cool? Looking back, because I know you're the one that created, our company name. How did you come up with the name?
Good question on that. The company name was really created in its simplicity in all forms of just service. What I try to create the most approachable name, the most common name. And I had some advisors come into me and they all said Portillo. Portillo was a great name. I said, wow, it's amazing. I wouldn't think about that. Everyone had fast sales or quick results, all types of examples. But when I kept penciling out the word Portillo Sales and Marketing, it just became such an easy flowing type name off my lips. And that's how we created it.
Yeah, totally. What's so funny is, when we say Portillo Sales and Marketing, it's funny. We take great pride in our name, obviously, but there's so many people out there that are like, I know they look at our last name and they go, oh boy, how am I going to pronounce this sucker?
Or they don't pronounce it.
Or they just don't. They just you can see they're about to say it and then like, you guys, or they fill it in with something else, which is just so funny. I've heard some funny variations, just as I know you have over the years. And sometimes it's like, oh man, that one was way off.
Yes.
Or you poor soul, having to to get, because the EO, how the two L's, they create that E sound. It's hard,
sometimes we get also mistaken for Portillo's.
That's right. Yeah. Big hot dog chain out of Chicago.
The people come up to me at the NRH here and they'll say, I've been at your restaurant, or I've talked to your brother, I know your father, or it's been a lifelong journey or dream of mine to eat more at Portillo's. And I said, thank you. They won't even let me speak. They'll say, that's not really us. They assume it to be us.
Yeah, exactly. What did you do today?
Today was a balancing of work and trying to strategically plan, putting things in motion for future quarters for us. And I think that there was a lot of people that are doing a great job, but how can we get the right things from the right people? That seemed to be something of my work today.
Yeah. Do you think your job today, is it similar to what you used to do at Food Sales West, or is it different?
My past was very different. When you work for a large company, initially, you are working on tasks, you're working on objectives, and things that are really trying to report to a client from the past results. I'm trying today to think about the future, what we want to get accomplished, and deliver those to the clients. So it's a much different frame of mind all the way around.
For sure. Do you like this stage of your career and kind of the work you're doing now, or do you appreciate the past work and miss some of that?
In the past, I was thinking more like a doer. I thought I was doing a great job, but now I'm actually strategically thinking about the future and how I can fill the stadium, so to speak, with people in the seats versus I'm taking your ticket and your money at the door, so to speak, just checking the boxes. So we're moving to a much different perspective and a much different conversation with the marketplace and how we do things daily.
I don't know if you ever heard of the concept of the visionary and the implementer. Within a business, you want to have your visionary, somebody who has ideas, who has foresight, has direction of where they want to take it. But a lot of times that visionary is not necessarily the proper person to implement it. So you need the implementer, somebody who is maybe operations driven or is just likes doing the tactics, likes doing the day-to-day grind of putting that vision into place. And I think we have a mixture of that going on between you and I, the visionary and the implementer, where
Yeah.
you a lot of times you come up with the ideas. I mean, you came up with the idea of the company, you came up with the idea to move into other markets and things like that. Looking back over the past 9 years, what are some of the moves that you feel that you've made that have been very strategic and important to our business on where we've gotten here today?
A great question there. I would like to say this, that first thing, when you step back and look at the business, we try to build a business initially to compete with other people within our category of business. And I quickly found, and we found out as a team, that that was not the right strategy for us. We need to find out what we do best and then do more of that. So initially, to look like a broker, you had to have so many customer service people, you had to have an army of salespeople, you had to have offices everywhere, kitchens everywhere, and those all are expenses today, but don't deliver results. So we took the approach of really focusing on that operator, where we can help that operator get better at what they're doing with a better experience and more retention in their seats. Then with that service and that model, they'll go to distribution and say, these are the items I'd like to buy. So we're not going to distribution and asking for them or begging them to bring in slots. We're asking them to bring in slots for sales and customers commitments that we already have in hand. And that really has changed the game all the way around, changed the game. We now bring value to the distributor, and we bring value to the operator by doing it that way.
Yeah, I think if you look at overall business model, a lot of times when I talk to manufacturers before we partner or, kind of into the interview process, is there's the basic blocking and tackling, what you've kind of alluded to, having the sales team in place, having the customer service team in place, being able to handle food shows, having the bandwidth to handle their business. But that's just the basic blocking and tackling that the food broker industry has created. Now we're trying to do things that are unique and innovative. I think things around marketing, really increasing the marketing levels of what's expected of a food broker right now. Candidly, across the board, looking at just the food broker business in general, a lot of our competition in so we've seen kind of like a gap is around that marketing, driving lead, maybe through email campaigns, like driving leads and things like that, and building brand awareness, as opposed to just kind of going around and knocking on doors one by one. We have that, but now we have a marketing team, and that's really helped us out in our business, is creating that level of engagement on the marketing side, and now getting more into the data side as well, which I think is crucial to our business. Getting more into Power BI, getting more into reading data and things like that to make better decisions. I think it's just bringing our business into today's environment, where a lot of times in food service we don't necessarily see that. It could be, a lot of people may view it more as an antiquated industry, as opposed to other industries out there that are really cutting edge and leaning more into AI and new data and what's available in current technology. So really proud of us in terms of that, kind of embracing new and change and always looking towards ways to become better, whether we know how to do it today or not, finding the right people to help us get there.
Absolutely.
What about for the future? Like, if you look down the future of the food broker business, what are some things that you'd like to see, whether you know how to do them today or just maybe an idea, anything that comes to mind that's like, oh, that's kind of interesting?
If there was something like I would see in the future, is about engagement with the customer. First off, let's just take a food show. I can learn a lot about a participant at a food show from the manufacturer and or the broker side of the business if they're standing by in the booth. You want to be engagement, you want to begin to start thinking different, you have to get out in front of the booth and talk to customers face to face, shake their hand, pull them aside, talk to them about their needs and wants, what things are exciting to them, and how can we help them in that process. And it begins to create a much different relationship over time with the customer, the manufacturer, and the distributor. That little piece of extra that we do there helps other members become better at what they're doing also. And so before you move in technology, you have to first be able to have confidence of doing the small things better. So if you're out in front of the table there, spending time asking for the opportunity, how can I follow up with you, and sincerely doing it and making that happen, and not just use the food shows just to check the box. You really get out there and work it hard and be prepared. You think a customer is going to come to the show, you should be contacting the distributor 2 or 3 weeks in advance. Who's your key customers coming? How can we help you? What type of message would you like to deliver to them if we have the opportunity? And what would success look like to you? If you do all those things proactively, well in advance, before you get to the data and what we're looking at in the future, you're going to set yourself apart from everyone else. The second thing is you want to respond back to your distributors and thank them all at all levels that you come in contact. A thank you. And here's what we're doing next to help your business grow. And then follow up and do it. It's always about that connectivity and doing the extras. If there's something I can say that we want to do better in the future is, in my personal opinion, is we want to get away from lists and tasks and think about strategy that truly moves the needle in significant ways. There's a lot of customers and clients and distributors that have opinions of how to call on things. And they may not understand today's changing world and how fast it's moving. For example, our .com companies are doing a fabulous job, right? But there's been a tremendous amount of layoffs at the headquarter calls. And with those headquarter calls, by the layoffs, people are also working less. So that was once a very vibrant segment, and it still is. But understand the return is a little bit less than what it was.
Yeah.
Today, college universities might have a tremendous opportunity for all of us, and that would be our focus of what we're trying to get to. Maybe healthcare is growing for you. Maybe your C-store business might be up in opportunities. But you have to find it what it is in the future before it happens and make that decision to put the flag in the ground before it happes, so to speak. That'd be my advice there.
Yeah, kind of expanding on that. I love it. You're so old school. The relationship building and
Yes.
I love it, man. That fires me up. on that same token, kind of one of the things that I know that we worked on, and shout out to Tony and Darren and our team for putting this together, and Paul, is the sales training manual.
Yes.
And so today we've been working on with our team is building out we have the whole framework of the sales training manual, and it's putting it onto online on an online course, essentially, so that all new hires and even current sales team members on our team can kind of go through this. It's a guided course, and at the end you get a certificate, but essentially going through each training module of kind of learning the basics of selling, features, benefits, things like that, all the way down to how to do a can cutting, and so many other different things, personal perception, company perception, putting yourselves in the right light to succeed, and whatnot, kind of expanding what we're doing as a company and help scale it out. I think that's one area that we've gotten has been an advantage of ours, is being able to take an idea or a concept and scale it out. And the sales training manual is one way to do that. Taking exactly what you just said of being in front of the table when you're at a show, those types of things in the sales training manual. A lot of times people just aren't trained on that, or they are, and they may not. They just need a friendly reminder, so these types of things, being able to, especially as we expand. When we started, it was just you and I. We had just two of us. And so if you said, Nick, I want you to be in front of the booth, the communication point was easy. It was you to me. That's it. Okay, we got it. But now we've got 30 people, and with 30 people comes much more, one, responsibility on one end, but on the other end, there's also a lot of, there can be communication breakdown. So having these types of systems and processes in place helps our business grow and move forward. What do you think of that?
I think you're right. I think the advanced things that we're thinking about by allowing our team members to build the right opportunity or system for us to work from is even better. If we use an outside source solely just for that information, it's going to be more cookie cutter and may not fit our business intimately and have the same result that we're looking for. with them bringing it is real experience, real hands-on, real negative impact and positive impacts that are put into thought, and then we test it. I would even welcome our clients to take the same, go through the same process with us, so they can walk and understand what we're trying to get accomplished too.
For
I think
sure.
it might be a very, very, very impactful for them. We have nothing to hide. We're very transparent. We're very open with all our employees and all of our customers and our clients, because we feel that is the thing that sets us apart. You want to move away from whenever possible, just tasks that you do every day. You check email 3-4 times a day. Stop that. Stop it. Think about strategy. What am I going to do to move the number today forward? Whether it be a segment, a specific customer, a specific DSR or rep, and focus on them and get them what they need so they get that job or their job done to help all of us. Does that make sense?
Yeah, makes sense.
And know your product. Know it. So many people don't take time to open up a can or cook a product off when it comes to their warehouse. They just say, oh, we got to sell this new item. You should test it in every way possible and kick it around, take it home, enjoy it, and really put it to the test. So when you're in the field, you can answer more questions on the fly like that. That's what's going to make you uniquely different, right?
Yeah.
But I applaud the gentleman. I'm looking forward to the sales program they're going to launch and initiate with us, and we've allowed them 100% to do it. And that's I'm looking for a much better result than if we were to go out and get something off a shelf and have someone come in to present it to us. It's going to be real. It's going to be factual. It's going to be intuitive, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think, and to those listening along, what my dad is referencing is on the sales training manual, we had team members of ours build it out. You know, when you bring in team members onto your team, one thing as an entrepreneur is letting go of certain things and leaning on or relying on your team to help, especially in this case. You know, I think you and I, we're great at what we do, but when it comes down to it, like selling out the operator level or the distributor level, I'm going to speak for myself on this, that a good portion of our team, I think, is better than me at doing it. They have more experience. They have more confidence in doing it. Not to say that I'm not good, because I've done it for 9 years now, but we've got people that have incredible relationships. They know how to ask for the order and kind of follow all the way through. And so why not lean into that experience and leverage it in a way and share it across the whole team? And I think that's kind of the idea with this whole sales training manual. Also, a lot of companies don't offer any kind of training. That's just, I've referenced it so many times on this podcast, but when I started, you remember you said that there's no book to food service sales. So I created this podcast as a way to, get more information and more learnings for people out there. So the sales training man is another thing. I think a lot of times, especially at smaller companies, us being 30 people and I put ourselves probably in that smaller, I think conventionally we would be considered a smaller company, and, having those systems and processes in place is not always doable for smaller companies. And so for us, it's how can we do big company things despite our size? And that has always led us down a path of growth, for sure, to be able to do that.
One thing, Nick, I can take from all this is that, and I've learned from you and myself as well, we are the biggest distraction as leadership of a company's growth. Mm-hmm. We have to allow others to be successful and have failure. We have to allow others to really shine or not shine. We have to help them make mistakes or win. We have to do everything we can to help them and support them, and we'll be quite amazed. And there's more of them than there are of us. So anything we put in their hands to have a deliverable, over time, confidently, they're speaking to presidents of companies. They're speaking to owners of companies. They're speaking to the actual decision makers themselves. Mm-hmm. We want them to feel like they're the entrepreneurs for this business to be successful. And when you do that, you unleash an army that's unbelievable in size. Unbelievable, right? You'd be amazed what one or two, three individuals can do in changing the minds of an industry overnight, pretty much overnight.
If you look at like an arc of a company, when you first start off, if you remember back, especially when we were sub 1 million in commissions, it was, we did everything, you and I, between sales, admin, customer service, accounting, all of it. One of the very first things to go is, as you get bigger, is admin. We stopped doing admin. We stopped doing any customer service type things like that. That eventually leaves. It has to, because those types of things are weigh you down as you're trying to grow your company. That's kind of the
Correct.
first thing to fall. The next thing that I think the next part that I'm seeing going is the sales part, where we're really leaning into our team now because we have so many people out on the street making calls across our 3 different states, that it's relying more on them and giving us feedback of what they need to be successful and staying out of their way. I think that's really proven to be necessary because you and I are the, as you mentioned, could be a facilitator to success, but also a hindrance as well. And it's important to let people, especially when we bring them in and give them opportunities, want to see them grow within our company, we have to get the heck out of the way so that they can grow.
One thing I would say, that as the food service is changing, it's always changing, which is great for all of us. There is vibration that's caused within a company. And that
Yeah.
vibration or noise comes to you in many ways. We have to keep people calm, yet listen, right? That's very important
Mm-hmm.
to us. We have to explain and show them how we do things and what can be done to help us all. And maybe they don't know right from wrong, or they do, but we need to help them, or they need to help us, right? And as we learn those simple little tasks tribally within the groups, you'll be quite amazed. I had a client call me today and just say, I want to call you about one of your general managers. I was so impressed with the activities of the general manager and how they treat my business, how they made me feel, and what they're doing on extra that's not even required by me. They went the extra mile. When I hear that, I'm just like over the top, over the top.
Yeah. No, it's way cool. It's a great feeling, and watching others succeed is like more exciting than watching my own self succeed, or watching I was gonna say watching you succeed. I like watching you succeed too.
There
I
you
got
go.
to give you credit. What about some threats to our business? Anything that comes to mind of potential threats in the future, whether it be the near term or long term towards our business?
I think there's always threats in our business. I think that there's a few threats that come to my mind. Always is the ability to think. Everyone thinks that they can encroach within a territory, or we can encroach within their territory. There's always competitive situations and so forth. It's not just money that can give you the ability to tip someone or get into an opportunity. It takes real relationships. It takes real business, real strategy to hold on to what you have. Very
Yeah.
complicated. Very complicated. I know all of our partners out there and our operators and distributors, they fight every day for that nickel, that penny, that dime that holds the difference. But really, that's a small thing in the total perspective. It's all about the experience and the relationship that you deliver to that customer. If they feel that you're a winner, you're not going to waste their time, and you truly have their best interests at heart, truly, you'll have a very successful experience with them all the time. Your communication begins to move from transactional yes and no's to real information on pricing, needs, lags in the supply chain issues, future thinking of what's coming down the pipeline. Look at their calendar years and or months in advance to help out these large chain accounts really prepare themselves. What are the college
Yeah.
universities looking at right now? What's important to them? Every year they get 28 to 30,000 students of new students coming into UCLA. You've got to be prepared for them. You got to
Yeah.
think about their different appetites, what's going to be new to them, what's going to change their diet so that people want to come to that school because they have the best offering, right? K-12, we have some of the best thinkers in that category. These folks really break down the menu and understand the bid process, that the items they're bidding on aren't necessarily always being purchased or committed to. It's just a process. They're just doing a process at the district level, but it doesn't really relate or really show results sometimes on the finished goods that are actually purchased or bought. So you have to understand intimately why the customer is doing what they're doing, how are they trying to leverage with you, and how you can leverage your business with them. I get so passionate about this. I'm excited about relationships. That's it.
I can see that. I love that every question that I ask leads down the same exact path
We're committed.
of
We're committed. That's all there's to it. You can
Dude,
laugh, but it's the truth.
you crack me up, man. I love it. I love your passion. I do, but it's just amazing. I can ask like, what's the weather going to be like tomorrow, and it's going to get back to
First.
customer relationships is what it's all about. By the end of the question, that's the answer.
It's so important to
Amazing.
us, Nick. It's so important to us. Our life is that way.
No, it is.
If
No,
we
for
don't have
sure.
good balance, we don't have good relationships either. You got to have balance at all times.
Yeah, speaking of balance, it's 5:45 right now, and you're still at the office.
I don't look at time. I look at the day, and I have a day's work that has to be done. It doesn't matter if I arrive at 5:30 and go home at 10 or 9, whatever. I don't think of it that way. I don't get fatigued. I think about I'm enjoying what I'm doing. I'm trying to do the very best I can do, and there's times I need to actually shut down within my time at the office and just think about what's next, what's important to the business. You have to have time to do that too. So it's not just working diligently; it's actually taking time to think about how to do things right and what is necessary to be done.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. How much
No,
longer do you want to do
I know
this?
you do a lot of activity, physical activities, which is great, right? To me, that's important, but it's also important to make sure that my mind is also strong and that I'm doing the right things to grow, right?
Yeah.
And if I hold people accountable, I have to make sure I'm accountable too.
How much longer you want to do this?
Let's see, I'm a young man. You'd probably say 5 years. I'm going to say 15 to 25 years.
15 to 25 years?
I'm just kidding you. I just enjoy it.
Nah.
I just really enjoy it.
Yeah, you do. Like I was giving you a hard time on how you answer your questions, but it's true. Like this is just how you live your life, and this is how you. Um, I now have an answer every time I call somebody that they always ask, "How's your dad doing?" Now I'm gonna know. I'm gonna say he's doing something along the lines of customer management and relationship building. He's out in front of the table at the food show right
Out,
now as we speak.
you can be on the table, under the table, or whatever. We're out front of the table. How's that?
Exactly. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Um, okay, we'll go home. This is all I got. I appreciate you joining me here on the podcast, and congratulations as well to 9 years.
You too, as well.
I don't think either of us expected to ever make it 9 years. Our brain, like I think, just the human brain can't even think that far in advance, and here we are. We've gone through a lot of stuff for sure. We've had a lot of tough times. We've had a lot of great times. I think we've been lucky more times than not, and just really grateful to be able to work with you and call you dad. And let's just keep the good times rolling. I think there's still so much more to go. I also think a lot of times too, companies or people, they have like a dream or vision in mind, and they quit right before it gets good. I think for us, there are so many times where it's like, are we ever going to make it? And then you kind of just, you don't realize how close sometimes you are to
Yeah.
achieving exactly what you set out to achieve. And I think we've seen that over the last few years of truly being lucky and being in the right place at the right time. But that comes with hard work as well. So that's all I got.
I just want to say thank you to everyone in the industry that makes it such a great place to work. We really have some good people out there, within our competitors or not, within our team, within our customer base, and so forth. And we just respect them. If you come with the right attitude, every day good things will happen to you, no matter what. And I appreciate you, Nick. Trust me, it's been a great 9 years. It's been fast. When we first started, our first office was 230 square feet. 230 square feet.
Yeah, it's tiny.
It was tiny. I walked in, you have to wait, and then your turn to come into my office. How's that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know we were bumping shoulders, and I look back on those times, and there's definitely we had so many fun times, but we're still having fun. So it's not like I look back and wish I was still there. Like I'm still having fun, and we'll continue to do that. So thank you, Dad. You're the man.
Thank you, son.